The COVID-19 outbreak has hit the local construction industry hard. Even sites that have been granted an exemption to remain open are operating on a reduced staff. Delays are inevitable. One firm, Casais, told GBC the company has had to reduce its workforce by around 70 workers. 32 have been registered as inactive under the government's Beat COVID scheme, and the rest felt they needed to return to their homes in Portugal. There are many logistical factors that need to be taken into consideration when reopening construction sites in full. The workforce, for one. Many of these come from EU countries such as Spain and Portugal. And with the internal borders of the EU Schengen zone set to open on the 15th of May, that could mean bringing some of those workers to Gibraltar before then a little bit tricky. And with many completion dates now put back, the cost of the pandemic to the industry is starting to pile up.
I think the reopening is a challenge. There's obviously mobilisation issues with construction sites which are felt across the sector. So we have big supply chains coming through Spain and Portugal. That's one of the reasons why I think trying to get these sectors up and running as soon as we can, notwithstanding public health measures, which are obviously the most important things to consider at the moment, is important for our continued investment into Gibraltar.
Casais says delays in completing projects will inevitably cost them money. It says it now expects a reduction in annual turnover of about 20 to 30%, with an increase in costs of 8 to 12%. Sharak Shan say time-related costs remain, such as the hire of expensive equipment and machinery, as well as scaffolding, which is usually paid on a weekly basis. Staff are needed to keep the area safe and secure. It says fixed costs remain, but as long as construction sites are closed, the money isn't being generated to pay for them. While the government's Beat COVID scheme will pay the salaries of those workers registered as inactive during the lockdown period, construction companies still have ongoing costs they have to meet. These include head office staff, rent, and also plant and equipment hire. And they also need to pay the cost of those workers in Gibraltar to stay in hotels if they have received exemption permits for those sites that have remained open. Getting these sites up and running could take a couple of days to a number of weeks, but it's not just about mobilising the workforce, which in itself could take time, but also about sourcing the vital materials needed. With reduced manufacturing output everywhere and other supply chain issues, this could also prove challenging, all while the meter is ticking each day.
The impact has been significant, even if we're continuing. So, with Marina Club, we got the ability to extend through into the lockdown period with a exemption permit. We have been affected heavily on other sites where we weren't able to obtain that permit, and therefore, we are waiting for a reduction in the lockdown mechanisms for construction sector.
While some companies say they can wait it out as long as it takes, others are less hopeful. One company told GBC it could survive 1 month of lockdown, but 2 months could place it in peril. The Chief Minister said the construction industry is a vital source of income for the government, and many within it will no doubt be hoping that it'll be a top priority when Number 6 announces its exit strategy in the coming days.